Welcome to the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Discover less and enjoy our holistic resources. Join us weekly on Wednesdays for our live talk show discussing the topics central to maintaining the holistic lifestyle you want. Each week we bring on leaders, product providers, and educators to enlighten and empower your natural journey in wellness. Let us begin. It's another Wellness Wednesday here. Let me tell you one thing. We're broadcasting to you live on, what is it? What's it?
Your holistic lifestyle
radio frequency. That's what we're dealing with right now. We're broadcasting live. Let me tell you one thing. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We're here each and every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And we're here to share messages and information with you. Now, our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Once again, Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. And I'll tell you one thing, you always want to go in and look in to see all the different posts. Now, our website is createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. The show is live. The call-in number is 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733. I'm going to tell you one thing. Dr. Frank, how you doing out there in that Canadian 8? What's happening?
I am doing so well. It's a beautiful day here. It's sunny, it's warm, and what else can you ask for?
Mm-hmm. Don't put me on the record.
We want to know.
I'm talking about sauteed asparagus out in the garden and a few other things. I'm a simple man with a simple life.
Good friends around, good food, that's all you need.
I know that's right. And Dr. Brookh, you always bring it straight forward. Let me tell you one thing. From the ground to the sun. What's going on?
Goodness. Well, you said two things. One is when you were being funny earlier, where am I? You know, the world is becoming a little bit unrecognizable, isn't it?
Well, look, you wear jean jackets. I know you in Happy Days and a lot of the things are what's cracking.
Right? Oh, my goodness. Well, you speak of asparagus, too. Our son has always interest in cooking, and so for our 20th wedding anniversary, which is finally since my husband is our guest today, but our son made us meat and, did some steaks up and asparagus. He broiled some asparagus. It was delicious. Oh my gosh.
How did you make it? Just tell us. What did you do?
I'm not exactly sure, but I saw salt residue on the counter, but I think he just salted it. I can't eat peppers, so he salted it up and he put it on a pan and I think he just put it in the oven. But it was perfection. Like, it was warm all the way through, but still like a little crunchy. Oh my gosh. He rocked it.
Simple is best. When you have a really good fresh piece of meat and fresh asparagus, you don't need anything else. You don't need the sauce or spices.
Nope, we are simple over here too. So yeah, with that, you just reminded me of that special treat we got.
We appreciate that share. Dr. Rabb, how you doing?
I'm fine now. I had to get some help to get online. I got to have my whole computer situation here checked out by Byron because something's going on crazy. It's been going on the last 2 or 3 weeks that doing this. Something isn't working right.
Dr. Rabb, what's
something is
terrible
not
about
working
it is
properly.
there's a song from the 80s that was called Send Me an Angel. Send me an angel, right? That's what you need right now.
I was going to say, what have you been doing that the powers that be are interrupting with your internet?
Hey, believe me, because I've seen your broadcasting. Looks like you running the whole mother universe with that thing. I mean, I'm not expecting this, Doc.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I did my Zoom program this morning. That was great, but it's a different situation. I'm upstairs with a different program, then I come down here on my computer and try to do this program, and now it's starting acting real crazy.
Like the computer has the coronavirus. Somebody just went in. I said, I don't know.
It's got something.
Oh, terrible.
Our producer just said something
Dr. Rabb,
funny.
yeah, I know that's good. All right, maybe he got the vaccine. Hey, so look, all right, so look, Dr. Valerie Frank.
No, it's working. It's working fine now, but that was I had to do something else. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, look, that's approving. If you look good, you feel good. Make it happen. Real soon. All right, so Dr. Valerie Frank, what you got for us?
Well, just going back to what we were talking about earlier, just really talking about how being around good people and positive vibes and learning all the time is so critical. And, we had a chance to talk and connect a little bit earlier before the show, and we were kind of talking about, why we are the way we are, why we're so passionate about what we do. And both of us were saying, what we love is sharing knowledge. And we get this wonderful treat now of having Dr. Brooks and her husband here. So we get to feel the love and connection. And we're going to get all this amazing information, depth of knowledge that, again, would have been built over so many years and built together, because I have a suspicion that, you guys would be talking at night, sharing your passion, and that would accelerate the learning curve. So really excited.
You're absolutely right, because let me tell you one thing. What I learned about nothing else from Facebook and everything else, if you're good looking or handsome, you got their attention. And this guy, this Dr. Lyons, I'm telling you. I had to turn off the like button on this freaking guy. They had me going so crazy. I said, wait a minute. Did I post this? Oh, Lord. I had to turn it back on today just to make sure I didn't overload and Facebook didn't shut us down. Oh, that's a viral post. Oh, no, it wasn't. It didn't say anything about vaccine, Doc.
I think I got to send you some money or something for that.
Hey, look, that Dr. Brookh handles all. That lady is amazing. So, look, I want to get into everything you have to say. So we're going to take the commercial break. We're going to come back. And we're going to get into everything, because guess what? Nothing like having friends when you do things.
Yeah.
If you guys, do you understand what friends are? Do you know what the meaning is?
No.
Anybody? Friends, the word you use every day. But most of the time we use it in the wrong way. Now, you can look the word up again and again, but the dictionary doesn't know the meaning of friends. And if you ask me, I couldn't be much help, because a friend's somebody you judge for yourself. Some are okay and they treat you real cool, and some mistake your kindness with being a fool. We like to be with some because they're funny. Others come around when they want some money, and some we grew up with around the way, and you're still real close to this very day. Homeboys through the summer, winter, spring, and fall, and then there's some of us who never knew at all. But this list goes on again and again. But these are the people that we call friends. Houdini. I wanted to share that with you. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Meet me in the marvelous St. Martin for an evolution into self-love and soulful living. Hi, I'm Bernadette Davies, founder of Agape Holistic Retreat in St. Martin and around the globe. We're an all-inclusive retreat in St. Martin and private retreats and around the globe. It's magical. www.agapeholisticretreatsxm.com. Attunement, enhancement, alignment. www.agapeholisticretreatsxm.com. Meet you in St. Martin.
My name is Michelle. I am the beauty boss of A More Beautiful You with Jafra Cosmetics. What is so wonderful about Jafra is that it is an essential business and fits into everyday needs for everyone in your family. Jafra offers over 500 products within 4 departments, and they are, department number 1 is our skincare department with our 5 exclusive Royal Jelly skincare lines powered by our Royal Jelly RJX technology. Number 2 is our on-trend gorgeous color and makeup line, a must-see. Number 3 is our fragrance from the world's top perfumers. And department number 4 is our body care for the entire family. Just added is our daily advanced hand sanitizers in 2 sizes. I invite you to visit my website to see more of A More Beautiful You with Jafra. My website is www.abeautyboss.com. amorebeautiful-u.com. That is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. Thank you, and stay safe and well.
Welcome to the hemp industry, including new product CBD-based discoveries is here. It is a smart, organic personal care option today. Industrial hemp is one of the fastest growing segments of the wellness industry and is quickly emerging as a lucrative business opportunity for many. This emerging industry strives to create products that are designed to revolutionize the way people care for themselves. These products are well formulated to produce the finest quality of dietary supplements on the market, derived from industrial hemp containing proprietary CBD compounds that help support the body's endocannabinoid system. For more information regarding hemp, nano water soluble CBD, CBD pet care, CBD choices for your complete body, and receive your home delivery, visit the Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, the Lifestyle Store. It's at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Health is the new wealth. You heard it right here. Health is the new wealth. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We'd love to hear from you. We're live each and every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Call-in number is 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733. What I love about this show is, look, we can have fun, be ourselves, and get information. No judgment. You have a truth. Look, just let us know. Comment. We'll move forward. Hey, Dr. Brookh, are you there?
I'm here.
Which one?
That's right.
Right? Dr. Brookh, but two Dr. Lyons in the house.
Yeah, that's right. I said Dr. Brookh, so you can bring it on home.
Yep, I sure will. Well, I want to introduce my husband again. He's been on the show before, but I think that it's serendipitous how these conversations come together, isn't it, Johnathan?
Yes, it is.
Dan Lyons is a chiropractor, but one of the great things about being in this profession is that we not only work with the details of how the body works with the brain and communicates messages back and forth, but it also helps us be very interested in other things. And so, Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Dan.
Dr. Brookh.
I suppose I should call you Dr. Dan.
Thank you, Doc.
Dr. Lyons.
Yes, Dr. Dan. We're going to call you whatever you want.
We're all friends. If we're all friends, then it's Dan.
Right on. So, but the doctor doesn't go without meaning. And one of the things I'd like for you to begin with is, what are some of the things that you've been introducing in your office? Because when you did the write-out, you talked about how the last year has been full of surprises, and no doubt. But I think what's happened is that people don't know how their body works. And so when you said how we have an immune system that's designed to kick butt, people just don't know what that means. And one of the problems is they don't know what chiropractors do. And then they don't know why that might benefit them. So I don't think this is necessarily going to be a show about chiropractic, but can you share with me some of the things, or share with us some of the things that you've been doing in your practice to really help people manage what's going on right now?
And then on top of that, once you get done with that question, my next question is, I want to know what upsets you when people come into your practice. I want to know what really upsets you. As an individual receiving information, I'd like to know what upsets you so that people can be set straight. So Dr. Brooks' question first.
All right. So the upsets one. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to love that one. So I've asked my whole career, every single person that comes into the office to define health. I said, Webster's dictionary calls up and they ask you to define health, and they're going to use it. And so last year we had 4 people all year, 4 new patients all year out of a couple hundred new patients. Get it right. This year we're up to 13. So we obviously people got a little bit smarter over the year.
That's a huge difference.
And so, it is a huge difference, especially health is proper function. Every cell, organ, tissue, gland, muscle, joint in your body has a job to do. And if it's not doing its job, you have a problem. You may not know about it, but you eventually will. And that is all based upon the communication within the body. You got to, your brain runs everything. You don't die when your heart stops, so you stop breathing. You die when your brain no longer has any activity. And so your brain's got to communicate to your body and back. And
now, Doc, I'm going to ask you a few questions along the way, and please don't.
No worries.
How many brains are there in the body?
How many brains are there in the body?
Love it.
Yeah, because I'm just asking. So I'm a little funny guy. I'm not on the outside here. All right. Look, I've heard there's 3 brains in the body.
Well, within the brain, there are 3 different areas of the brain, but there's really one brain, and it's just like you have one nervous system, but you can divide it within peripheral and central, or autonomic, motor, and somatic. I mean, so
is
you
the
can
lymphatic system a brain? Does it have a brain? Lymphatic?
No, lymphatic system is part of the trash system in the body that cleans out the cellular waste.
I heard there's a brain upstairs, downstairs, and in between.
They have.
I think you're talking about the gut-brain connection and the connection between the gut microbiome and the mood.
Third brain.
That's why we're married.
His brain is functioning. I see how you guys work out. But I just like people to define that, because they hear that. How many brains? They said, well, we just discovered there's another brain. I mean, to your knowledge, how many brains do they consider that's in the body?
Well, again, a neurologist would just say there's one brain, but we keep learning it. But we're learning that other parts of the body, like the gut and the enteric nervous system down there, has a bigger role than we thought it did.
Okay.
It's not
influential, and it's influential. We'll call it that.
Well, and I think sometimes we say these things, like the gut is your second brain. Just to simplify it so that people understand, this thing's really important. So take notice. But that doesn't mean it's an actual brain. That's a different body part.
Gut feeling, things like that. These things, instinct.
Poop for brains.
Yeah. You guys are so bad today.
You started it earlier, Johnathan.
But I'm trying to cover the things that happen when people ask these questions. So that's why I want to get it out there, so at least they know we're down home enough. You put it out there, because we're a real show asking real questions. And you hear this all the time.
You really do, and it confuses people.
So it's nice to be able to at least elaborate on it. We can move on, which is great. At least we touched and talked about it.
So, but there's a couple things that I'm going to circle back to that, because that is part of what I wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
A lot of this, we get confused because we have all these different systems in the body, and they all have to communicate in order for the body to work. And that's all done through your nervous system. And, I got my Guyton's textbook, which, everybody that they still use Guyton today in school. They have a newer version. But on mine, it's on page 566. And I always found this ridiculous, was that they say more than 99% of all sensory information is discarded by the brain as irrelevant and unimportant. And to me, that was, what an egotistical assumption, because there's no neurologist today that 100% knows what the brain's doing. We only know about the conscious part. And so anything that is not available for us to consciously perceive, we don't know what's going on, and they say that it gets disregarded. And that's where part of all the confusion comes in. And so for us to live our daily lives, we have an internal environment, your body temperature, your blood pressure, your pH, how much glucose is in your system, all those things. And then you have your external environment. And your body has to perceive all those things. And so when you're talking about, the gut brain, all those connections, your body perceives that, and it's got to send all that messages, all that information up to your brain to decide what to do at that given moment. And that cycle, and then your body responds, and that's constantly going on with every single cell in your brain and your body every moment of every day. And if all that works flawlessly, then you are truly healthy. And your body has to regulate your body temperature up and down. It has to regulate your blood sugar up and down. All those little things. And, so there's a Goldilocks zone that you get into. And, with the last year, everybody's worried about, catching this thing in the immune system. And what they don't realize is that, stress or a perceived stress has a huge impact on your immune system. You can find article after article. If you just go on and type in neuroimmune system, you'll get hundreds of thousands of, scholarly articles about it. It's crazy and great articles. There was one I was reading called The Conversation where just about this anxiety about coronavirus can increase the risk of infection, but exercise can help.
It makes sense.
I'm going to ask you a question that I've never asked before, okay? Because I think you can elaborate in a certain way, okay?
All right. I'm not giving you my bank account number.
Type that in the chat box.
Oh my goodness, this guy! I tell you, I already know he's rich. Only rich people make that kind of assumption. Doc,
I got me a good one.
Doc B, you're in the mix. Let me ask you something. Why do you think that we have not been able to have something or a couple of things that can cover the things that happen with the body? I've never asked this before, okay? People like yourself have a lot of information, okay? And
I'm not sure I understand the question.
No, I'm getting into a little bit deeper. Why do you think we have not been able to discover one or two things that can handle things that happen to the body as an aggregate, cancer, anything, all these different things? Why do you think that has not occurred when someone goes in and creates a vaccine that's supposed to stop all these other things? Of these years, I just don't understand why we have not got to the point where it's something on this earth where you can go, okay, this is going to handle at least 90% of what occurs with the body. I've never really heard anybody say that. They say panacea, and that's not a panacea. Everyone always goes and says that. I'm just wondering. I'm really wondering that because I hear stories of the past where people go through and it's this, that, and the other, and it started from this garden, this, that, and the other. I've never posed that question, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I mean, there's no correct answer as we know, but at least share. And Dr. Brookh, your camera's on, just so you know.
Oh, well, I'm walking around.
Yeah, we're watching it. We love it.
At least you have clothes on.
I do have clothes on.
I mean, you like the Shamama and the Shaman.
There you go.
But I often ask that. I'm often asked that question, and I stutter about it because, it's been asked to me. So sometimes when a person has a lot of knowledge, I just wonder if they ever really thought about, okay, there's all this knowledge, and they've, what maybe two or three things that someone can just thrive on that can handle many things that occur with the body. So they're asking me a collaborative question so that they don't have to be taking like Schwarzenegger 150 different supplements, this, that, and the other. But I'm just kind of wondering that because if the drug industry can go through and take something that covers most things, I'm wondering why some natural scenarios doesn't seem to be the case, or it's not explained that way, or maybe the right media is not getting out there. And I've never asked this question before. I only asked it to you, Doc, because I think you're a person to get close to the answer or close to explaining the situation. So
let's hear it.
All right.
I mean, it's a deep question. I don't mean to put you on the spot. It's just that you're very dynamic. And look, I
think I got a good answer for you.
That's what I thought.
So when it comes to a medicine, there's two things. First of all, I think our faith in medicine has almost created a religion out of it, and that there is the efficacy of most drugs are greatly overrated. Hold
on. Let's define medicine real quick, people. Something that's prescribed and created by pharmaceutical individuals, okay?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Just so people are not confused. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Pardon me, all you other doctors out there. I wanted to clarify that. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you for that clarification. But I think they're overestimated and overrated. And the only drug that has ever withstood the test of time is the placebo.
Right.
If you give someone an amphetamine, they should always have a bunch of energy. But studies have shown time and time again that if they believe they're taking a depressant, that they'll take the amphetamine and the stimulant, and they will be sleepy. So it's the body is the entity, the human being or the animal, whatever. If you're a vet,
the catalyst.
So cattle, yep. But so we are designed to live and thrive, and the body is always striving to do that. And it's done through the communication I mentioned earlier. And when you depart your intended trajectory of health and get to somewhere where you had cancer, so you've gotten off the path somehow. And like if I was going to leave here in Green Bay, Brookh and I decided we're going to road trip out in the car to see you, there are hundreds of thousands of different, maybe millions, maybe an infinite number of different paths. We could turn down this road. Let's go left. Let's go right. Okay, we're going to go right, and then we go left. You keep choosing at all these different moments in time, different things that get us to you, eventually, if we know where we're going. But in something like cancer, the body doesn't really know where it's going, and so you take all these side roads and detours, and now you end up at a bad place. And how do you get from there back to health? Because you're completely lost at that point in time. That's why it's so tough to come up with the panacea, with the one thing that covers all.
Okay, so, all right, with that being said, hold on a minute. Dr. Rabb, any questions or thoughts at this time?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, all right.
Absorbing.
All right, cool. Dr. Frank.
Yeah, I absolutely love the question that you asked, and I think there's a really big difference.
I'm out there, you guys. I apologize. I'm such a nut.
It's a fantastic question. I think everybody should be asking these questions, like what's going on. And I love Dr. Dan's answer, and I also would say, this cancer is multifactorial, and science. We love to look at science and think that it has all the answers, but science doesn't. It's still so young, and it's more about inquiry. So when we look at something like a virus that comes out, because you're kind of comparing it to like vaccinations, you can isolate the variables of the virus. Like there's one kind of virus that you can take a look at, and you can take a look at how it's impacted on the cells and what pulls it in. With cancer, the causes of cancer are so multifactorial that, it's not the same thing to look at it. We have to take a look at all aspects of the immune system, and we have to take a look at how other systems interact, because in cancer, there's part of it is the immune system. Part of it is how well that cancer cell is able to build blood vessels. In some cases, in other cases, it's about hormonal imbalance. It could be about detoxification. It could be about damage to the DNA inside of our cells. There is a mechanism in which a cell is able to kind of look at itself and say, if I'm damaged, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to die, right? And if that marker inside the cell and the DNA gets damaged, the cell doesn't die off when it's sick. And so that then starts to allow it to proliferate. So there's different areas that we can begin to look at, but we've got to take the whole totality into effect. And there's this beautiful field of epigenetics, which, we've kind of talked about on other shows, which actually say, hey, your beliefs, your thought patterns, the foods that you eat, the vitamins, the minerals, how you surround yourself, how happy you are, or, how sad you are, along with the hormones, along with chemicals, along with, other factors in the body, can actually turn on and off what are called histone tails. And they are little pieces of protein inside the cell which say, hey, code this part of the gene, or don't code this part of the DNA. So those histone tails can tell us whether we express a gene or not. So, for example, we know women who have a gene called the BRCA gene have an increased risk of breast cancer, and it's quite significant. Well, with respect to epigenetics, they say, hey, listen, if you have, really good foods, if you have the right vitamins and minerals, if you have a good positive attitude, you have the ability to affect whether the body expresses that gene or not. And so I think that I loved what Dr. Dan was saying, before as well about people who are in a state of fear, how that can create the exact situation that they're afraid of with respect to lowering the immune system. He's absolutely spot on. Sugar, eating too much sugar. We know sugar suppresses the immune system. We know that vitamins and minerals, if you're lacking, if you're deficient in those, the gut microbiome that we were kind of talking about earlier, that can affect your immune system. There's that very strong connection between the body and the immune system and the brain. So I'm just loving this conversation, and the question you asked is brilliant.
It's all the internal and external environment.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dan, I'm going to ask you a question again. You don't believe it. I'm just a nutty guy. Okay? I'm going to ask you to picture yourself, right, on a platform, okay? And there's no filter. Okay? You follow me?
Okay. Yep.
And you're able to talk to everyone and say, I'm going to give you basics to survive in this current situation. Now, you can add in the stuff we're going through right now with all this, COVID, all this stuff. I mean, what would you say to them? And I'm only asking this because I know, Dr. Brookh is so passionate, but people, no one's talking to them that has basics. They're talking to them like everyone has a microscope and can go in and get the data. Nobody's talking straight out. And that's the only reason I'm asking you this. So maybe a few, commoners like me can really understand how to survive. Because all the stuff apart, I don't care, magnesium, all you're deficient and that, and the other. Then somebody comes and says, hey, man, I got to shoot you in the arm. Well, why not the ass? That's where the real serious stuff happens. They shoot you in the ass. You want to go to my shoulder. So it makes it seem like it's less important. But what would you say, Doc? I'm saying, what would you say? And believe me, I'm sorry for asking these type of questions, but
I'm loving these questions.
I want to know for myself, man. I mean, that's all. Okay. I mean, I want to be honest. So
all right.
I ask for everybody, and thank you.
You bet. So the first thing I would say is everybody's got to get it through their head that their health is their responsibility, and it's not anybody else's.
Yes.
So then you get one body. It's not like a car or a house where, you wreck your car, you go buy another one. You get one shot at this. So you got to take it seriously.
No Body Max, no Car Max. I'm sorry.
Exactly. No Carvana, no Body Mana.
Well, there are body mags, like bodybuilding magazines and fitness magazines, but you got to make sure that you dial it into your own body's biochemistry.
That's right.
Yeah. But so you have to take this seriously because you get one chance to get it right, and every time you get it wrong, you're gonna in some way be dealing with that for the rest of your life. You fall and break a leg. You're 15, you probably aren't going to know about it, but when you're 50, you're probably going to feel it. So we have to take care of ourselves. And, if you just take what's common sense, you want to be healthy, you don't eat at McDonald's. You don't drink soda. You don't drink beer. You don't drink alcohol. There's all the things we know that are bad for us. So if
I used to like you until then, but I'm with you.
I know. I like my beer. I like to have a drink now and again.
I'm just with you.
I had a glass of wine last night.
Those are things that keep me calm on a date. You're killing me, Larry.
Exactly.
Hey, look, I want to be real with everybody, all right? When you hear me, you're hearing the truth.
Yep. Okay. But you have to make those choices.
Yes.
And then you just go from there. How many healthy couch potatoes do you know? Very few. You've got to get up and move. Your body was designed to move. You have joints and muscles. They were put there for a reason, designed to do something, and your whole body works on use it or lose it. And so you got to move. You can't eat like crap. Now, a diet that works for you may not work for me. So everybody's their own science experiment, and you've got to figure out what works for you. And you have to understand that, and the probably the biggest thing is, and this is not just me being a chiropractor, but it's me being a chiropractor, is that, your nervous system runs everything, and it runs through your spinal column, which chiropractors are the specialists in. So if you have a problem there, you're going to have a problem somewhere else. And, when we're for 80% of the population that has pretty decent spines, it's not a big deal. But when you get someone that breaks their spine, as I did, I broke my neck in 1990 in 5 spots and dislocated my neck and crushed my spinal cord. And, I couldn't feel anything from my neck down for about 10 minutes, and I had pins and needles from my neck down for 10 minutes. And then for the week before I had my surgery, I had pain, but my digestion stopped, and I lost, 60 pounds of muscle. I just shriveled up. So I learned before I was a chiropractor how important the nervous system is, because everything stopped working. And
that's your question, Don. Where are you going?
Let me just finish this. And so you get someone that doesn't take care of their spine, and they come in with stenosis and severe disc degeneration. They have permanent deficits that they can't. I'll have patients come in and they're constipated. They can't have a bowel movement because their spine's so bad. They can't feel their legs. They can't do these things because their systems are shutting down because the conduit, their spinal cord, is so impacted by the degeneration. So we have to take care of ourselves. Take care of your nervous system. All right, back to your question that you were going to ask.
I'm going to ask this question, but guess what? I'm going to take a break right now. Listen, if you're tuning into the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show, this conversation is totally built for anybody out there that wants to know something. Don't hold back. It's like when you're in church, and they say if you have no church home, you need to go down there. And this is the time you need to pick up the phone and call 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733. A lot of good information here. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back. I've got a question for the doc. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Detox Jenny here. Is your digestion poor, painful, or just plain stuck? If so, please consider doing a short 3 to 10 day juice cleanse with my company, Earthly Juices. You can visit us at bringmejuice.com. You will be surprised what a difference a short cleanse can make within your body and your overall well-being. Our organic farm-to-table juice cleanses are handcrafted to exclude your allergies and geared towards solving your health issues. Call 310-404-6804 and mention this show and receive a free quart of juice with your first order. You can also find us at www.bringmejuice.com. Or you could write us your detox questions at earthlyjuices@gmail.com. We can't wait to bring that juice to your doorstep.
I tell myself again and again, I'm happy about my favorite juice from Jen. I tell myself again and again, well, Earthly Juices, they make the best juice cleanse.
Hi, this is Dr. Nathan Rabb Jr., host of The Natural Way, which you can hear live on InnerlightRadio.com every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On The Natural Way, you will learn about alternative strategies to common medical practices to overcome some of the most common physical and mental maladies in the world today. The program is a live call-in show, so you can engage me by calling 310-928-7733 with your health-related questions. For private consultations, please call my office. That's at 310-419-4372. You can also reach me on the web at Dr. Dr. Nathan, Nathan, Rabb, Rabb.com. Be sure to tune in to The Natural Way every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, live on InnerlightRadio.com. The Healing Frequency. I'm Dr. Nathan Rabb. We see you on the air. Peace.
Historically, our ancestors lived 100% organic and natural, simply grazing off the green earth with fresh fruits and vegetables and blue oceans filled with seafood. Allowing your mind, body, and soul to be naturally healthy is how we were meant to live during this journey of our lives. We invite you to visit The Lifestyle Store. Once again, The Lifestyle Store for all of your family's health and wellness needs. Simply click on The Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Keep this in mind. Health is the new wealth.
All right, we are back. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle show. Look, I want to talk a little bit right now about family, Doc, okay?
All right.
And then how, these things relate to family and how this can be done to help family and protect family. And I wanted to save this because I know there's going to be multiple situations and conversations that come in. I want to hear from all the hosts and talk about how you feel about this topic and how to move forward. Okay? You're in a very particular space with a lot of knowledge. So I'd like you to expound upon that, how you feel personally about family, about how that relates to health, about moving forward, how to be better, but yet how to survive in this new global environment.
Ooh, is that my cue?
I had to give you the ring-a-ding-ding. Ring-a-dingy, two ring-a-dingy.
All right, two ring-a-dingy. So, family is part of your external environment. And so if families that struggle emotionally, broken families tend to have poor health outcomes. Part of that's financial. Part of that's time, decision-making, but so just like all the systems of your body are woven together, all the aspects of your life are part of that health. And, this one's probably more in my wife, Dr. Brooks' wheelhouse, because she's all about that, all about the family and making those connections. And her book, The Envelope System, it talks about leaving, creating that legacy and writing these things so that the people understand and know how you feel about it, because your emotional health, just like the fear or anger suppresses your immune system, it goes down. And when one person in a family gets sick, it's a drain on everybody else. So all those are critical pieces. And so everybody in the family ideally has to be on board with, taking care of themselves, and then you take care of everybody else in your family, in your immediate family. So, for Dr. Brookh and I, we keep each other on track, and we keep our kids on track, and then from there we go to my sister and brother-in-law and my parents and her family, and it just spreads out, and that's what really makes a community work. You should be helping someone up when they stumble. You shouldn't be making them, no one should be forced to drag someone along. And that's really the way our system is. That, it's easier to eat crappy and take poor care of yourself, sit on the couch, binge watch Netflix, which is just passive, no activity, and you're putting probably a bunch of crap in your mind, and avoid any emotional interaction and any growth. It's easier to do that and coast until you get to a bad place in life than it is to be active. And our society seems to support that. And then we have to drag people along and try and get them out of that gutter and rolling. I guess I look at it as physics, an object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object at motion tends to stay at motion. But if you're going to be in motion, you got to keep putting in work because there's friction involved. And so there's my philosophical end around for you.
I would agree with that completely. Yeah. And, it's interesting because when you talk about that love and connection, it can have a really profound effect on people. And I was listening last week, I believe, to program that was talking about some of the latest research, and they were saying that if you listen to someone who is a family member who is complaining or griping at you for 25 minutes or more, it dramatically increases your risk of Alzheimer's. It can affect your brain function pretty quickly. So it's so profound and powerful.
Wow. That's interesting.
That
is very interesting.
So that's why you guys are so smart and have such great memories.
Right?
Well, but I come back to, it matters who we marry. Dan and I didn't start out the way we are now. We've been together for almost, 23, 24 years. So there's a lot of time in that. But, even the other day, our kids were like rolling their eyes because we were like, we have strong discussions because we have absolute opinions about stuff, but you have to be able to discuss things with your partner and your family members because it matters that we know how to process information and listen to each other and stand up for ourselves, because if we don't do this stuff within our families, then we're probably not going to have the confidence and the knowledge and the muscle memory to not leap out at people and aggressively attack them, but to have a conversation. And so, our son is especially a peace person. He doesn't understand why we would raise our voices, but who you marry matters, so that you can keep on working and pushing each other and having these discussions of what's important to you when you're young is not important to you when you're old. Like, it just changes. And so I guess I'm just really glad that we ended up together, because we're always working on this stuff. And, Dan just said something about Netflix binging. We do Netflix binge sometimes. Like, you got to disconnect. Our favorite movies are
Brain
the
candy.
dumbest. Oh my gosh. We love The Love Guru, like Talladega Nights. Like, we watch the dumbest movies because you can't be all one. But going out with friends and finding friends that, like, for us, it's most important to have a friends that are couples, because we're so busy that if we have time to go out, I really want to be with Dan, but I also want to have him enjoy himself and me enjoy myself. So we've got a couple of couples that we love hanging out with. You got to make sure you go out and do that stuff, because that's the health of it, right? Like, even during the shutdowns and everything, we were still hanging out with our friends, because we understand health and wellness a little bit differently. And so, yeah, I mean, that for me, that's the stuff right there, is coupling yourself with somebody else who at least kind of gets it, or at least lets you investigate it.
Absolutely. And getting back to the immune system, we can take a look at research out of the Institute for Heart Math, or we can look at some of even the early research by Candace Pert. God rest her soul, but she was absolutely brilliant in saying, hey, wait a minute, we can actually map the neurotransmitters, and we can see physically where different receptor sites are and how they match the chakra system, and how, she was the one who coined the term psychoneuroimmunology, which is kind of like saying the moods, the molecules of emotion are really interconnected with our immune system. So I agree 100%.
Just as a memory, Candace Pert was the first. Was she a neurologist? I can't remember what her stat was, but
no, I believe she was a microbiologist, or she was a biochemist, I think. She had a PhD.
She was the Ed, who was a strong female, willing to say something that was already against mostly what we were learning, not connecting the dots. So, yeah, that's so fun you said her name.
Well, and I actually had the opportunity through the Naturopathic College, through one of their conferences, to hear her speak. And I was so blessed in that she actually was a beautiful artist too. And she could look under electron microscopes and look at some of the receptor sites and some of the neurotransmitters. And she made it into artwork, and she showed it to us. And it was just so beautiful and stunning. But really amazing to see how, those energy centers that Eastern philosophies have talked about for thousands of years, how when we actually take a look at the neurotransmitters and the receptor sites, what science today is just discovering, and we're like, oh, look at how smart we are. They've known about it for thousands of years.
Yep.
That's the way it is.
And yes, she was a neuroscientist and a pharmacologist.
Pharmacologist, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pharmacologist.
And to go back and kind of tie a bow on this, one of the problems we have when you were asking why hasn't anybody been able to come up with the one thing is because, Dr. Frank said it, well, there's more than one thing. Everything is more than one thing. When you look at, catching, a virus or a bacteria, most people don't, even with, COVID going around, but 98% of the population doesn't get it and 2% has, and there's more people being born every year than people that come down with it. So it's going to stay around that 2% or go down over time. So it's more about all the interactions that go on inside the person, and it's so complex and everything's so related, and it's about, are you organized and becoming more organized and able to adapt to the situation in and around you, or are you actively disorganizing and becoming less organized, and are you going to succumb to whatever's going on in or around you?
Absolutely. I always say that everybody's their own unique ecosystem. Everybody's body is their own unique biochemical universe. And I love the question that's coming up here. Does the mRNA technology active in the coronavirus shots compromise the natural immune system? If so, what could happen to the recipient? That's an excellent question. And to be honest, we don't have all of the answers. So this is a newer technology. So, with respect to some of the older technology, we know that when we give a little bit of an activated virus or even a live attenuated virus, we usually put a little bit of some type of heavy metal in there to increase the immune system. Now, we're not necessarily doing that with the mRNA, but there is propylene glycol in there as a stabilizer in polysorbate 80. And you can make the argument, well, propylene glycol, yes, in high concentrations is considered carcinogenic. It is. You can say, well, it's small enough that maybe we're not looking at carcinogenic issues. But again, we just don't have the answers of what's going to happen a year out from now or 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Or 4, or how this interacts.
Those, the adjuvants, they don't even really increase the immune system. They irritate it and get it to act, and that's why they put them in there. Because if you don't give them, there's no response. And what's the point of getting a shot if there's no response? And there's philosophically, I would say that absolutely there is going to be some abnormal change in our physiology when we put the mRNA technology in there, because it's something that our bodies weren't designed to respond to. It's when you go outside in like that, or with the adjuvants in any other vaccine, it's something that our bodies weren't designed to do. It'd be like trying to use your car as a submarine. It doesn't work very well.
Well, and what we're already seeing that, when we talk about the side effects and when the medical community talks about the side effects is, we're already seeing both Pfizer and Moderna saying, you can have a risk of myocarditis. You can have some issues with respect to Bell's palsy. There's an increased risk of clotting. Absolutely. So we are seeing that there's a potential for harm, and I know in Canada for sure. I'm sure the same in the U.S. Yeah. There are vaccine injury. The government has created a vaccine injury program, so people who have experienced any of those issues, can go for funding. And Pfizer just came out and said, we admit that Bell's palsy, we now have that on the label, that's a possible side effect. And for most people, they recover. Well, what if you're one of those people who don't? I think people should just really have an awareness about, hey, we need to just look at this with objectivity. And we have to realize that, in terms of evidence-based medicine, we're moving away from evidence-based to evidence-informed. Like, science is about inquiry, and it doesn't necessarily have the answers right now. And I can see that it's 2 minutes to close, and I know Johnathan isn't here, but he loves to ask the question, Dan, so in a short, take-home message, if there were,
Oh, no, I'm here.
Oh, you are here. Okay, good.
I think I'm not here. I just
okay.
had to let this flow because you guys all have that magical information. I was muted out there for a minute because I really want you to engage. But what I'd like to do this particular time is, Doc, can you go and give out your information, something you want to share? Then I want to go around and have the different hosts do a quick closing of their thoughts because we only have 2 minutes. So if you'd like to give out your contact information, Dr. Lyons, go ahead.
Sure. My website is Precision Chiro, that's CHIROGB, because I'm in Green Bay.com, PrecisionChiroGB.com. And I'm going to be speaking in Denver the last weekend of next month at the Mile High Conference, and that's open to chiropractors and the public. Mile
Never
High.
heard that term, dealing with the chiropractic, but I like it.
Yep. So, and thanks for having me. I did want to answer your last question. What upsets me is when people say crack me. Hey, Doc, can you give me a crack? So I like to get out a 2x4 and say, this is what I use for cracking. Would you like a specific adjustment, or do you want to get cracked?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, you're kidding. I love it. Dr. Rabb, your closing thoughts real quickly.
Well, basically right now, I'm very engrossed in I'm very engrossed in not only helping the people who come into my facility, but I'm dealing with a problem of my own, which is my right eye. And so I have to put a lot of effort there, and I have to put a lot of in the people who trust me to work with them and help them overcome some of the maladies that they are experiencing. So I'm busy, but I love it, and I guess that's about all I have to say at this point.
Okay. All right. So then real quickly, Dr. Frank, and I can't get to you, Dr. Brookh, but you guys are joining the help. Dr. Frank, real quickly, 15 seconds.
It's been such an honor and a pleasure, and I love this conversation, and I actually think we might be connected from the past, and I'll reach out to you and see if you know some of the people that I know.
All right.
Well, there you go. So listen, if you just tuned in and we're all leaving this show, Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show, Interlight Radio. We're here each and every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. We love you. See you next week.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Peace and love, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are a globally hosted show dedicated to sharing holistic lifestyle events, practitioners, products and services, and useful information. Visit our website, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Of course, our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We'll see you next week.
Namaste.